What is up, peoples? Oh, we were kind of late, but that's okay because probably somebody else will be way later than us. But it's not a big deal. It's not a problem. That's why we're here to hang out with you guys and chill with you guys for as long as we possibly can. But it won't be that long tonight, most likely. Anyways, what is up? I'm joined by my boy over here and my girl. It's good old Alan Shakazine, and then Jessica. Alan's not both.
I'm wondering, like, how are you gonna differentiate us tonight?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, that was kind of weird. That was like one of the more like silly introductions I've done. That just doesn't even make sense. Ronald's saying audio's out. It came back. Evening, everyone. Hey, evening to you too, good sir. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the audio, but hopefully it doesn't continue on there. But thank you for letting me know, Ron. Blasian, what is up, dude? Blasian Michael, not Black Mystical. Which I
really like Blasian. I really like that because he keeps reminding me about the Illuminati shit, and I keep feeling really bad that I can't get like right away. Hey, it's fixed.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing. Is like know this, and hopefully this is not a thing where like it's insulting because it's not. But like Corey's calling me. This is gonna be interesting.
Even start the show.
I'll be right back, sir. Talk to the crowd though if you can.
Alrighty, we'll do. So let's see, who do we got in the chats at the moment? For some reason my chat. Okay, there we go. My chat's not fucking going up, but yes, Blazer, Ronaldo. Ronaldo's always good to see you, buddy. I know I called you Ronaldo for some fucking reason. I hear Ronaldo and my brain just goes Ronaldo. I'm pretty sure I've called you like 6-7 times. Right now, as far as what's up while I'm trying to kill time is just playing more Mass Effect 2. Starting to really get about halfway through that game. That game has a lot more content than I originally remembered. The last time I played it was actually when Mass Effect 3 came out. And one of the reasons I started picking it up again was because of the Legendary Edition that's actually coming out in probably, was it a month or so? Jed, I have no idea if you're here, so if you know the date of that, let me know.
March. Sure was it March? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's
I thought I knew, but I don't.
But yeah, the thing is, I don't know if I'm going to get it, though, because I have all the DLC, and I have it all on PC and everything, so it's like, yeah, Mass Effect 1's going to get updated and fixed and stuff like that. But usually with these remasters, they change things that I liked in the original game. But I don't know what they're going to do with that. But I don't see the value in it personally. But if you've never played Mass Effect, this is probably the best
way to play it.
Yeah, I have no idea what they're going to change to it. Because they said they're going to revamp Mass Effect 1. Because of course they are. The game came out in 2008. That game was wonky as fuck even on release.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. Like, so is this just like a console thing? Or is it also going to be like on Steam or something, too?
It'll be on PC. It'll be on everything. I think everything. I'm not sure if
here's
it's
the
PS5.
biggest situation I had an issue with is like when Mass Effect was on. Oh, what is that noise? Thank you so much. Profane Ideas. I like that name, but thank you very much for the follow, dude. But no, like I've noticed this, and I forgot what system I even played on. But PC Mass Effect, you had to actually download these packs for your controller. Because Xbox One and Xbox 360 controllers do not work on it. You had to like do something, like some workaround.
Yes, actually, so that's probably one of the reasons they're fixing it. The funny thing about it is that's the only time I ever actually beat the game was as far as Mass Effect 1's concerned. Every time I beat it was on PC. And at first, when I first played, I was like, what the fuck? This is a third-person shooter. Why am I using the mouse and keyboard? But it's one of those things where you don't really get that anymore, but they exclusively designed the PC version to work with the mouse and keyboard really, really well. Mass Effect 1 and 2 work phenomenally. Your powers are mounted to the keys you would need to. Everything is right around the same way, so it's like, yeah, you could find workarounds to get the PC version going, but honestly, I really like playing mouse and keyboard. It works really, really well.
Thank you for the bits, E-Mike, and thank you for the follow, Indian Boot Man. Really appreciate it. By the way, you guys have been doing lots of support for us, especially on YouTube. Thank you so much for that shit. E-Mike, I'm going to bring this up really quick. Speaking of video games, this is going to be a very video gamey show. Might be a very short one, but it is what it is. Yep. E-Mike saying, so what's going on with Gears of War? I heard they're going to be moving to PS5 or something like that. Now,
That's never going to happen.
Well, there's an article that's up about this, too. So I'm going to show this. This was posted January 10th, 2020. Gears 5 is coming to PS4. Now, this is the biggest thing that's kind of going on. There's a lot of stuff that's actually going very, very back and forth with like console to console. Like there's something that was coming out on Switch. God, I forgot what the fuck it was. But it was a pretty big move to the point where I'm like, I can't even believe that you're not allowed to go on Switch. But have you noticed that? Like now we're like really not giving a fuck about like you go on this system, rights to here, rights to there. It's like we're all kind of becoming one right now.
It's a mix. Some things it depends on who you are, depends on how big your company is. But exclusivity, it's like it's going the way of the dinosaurs, but it's also not, because it's one of the reasons that Sony really pushed forward in the last generation. But it isn't the reason that Xbox 360 essentially won it. It's more of where the easiest place to play with. So it's like there's no longer any rules because back in the day, it's like, hey, you bought a Nintendo console to play Nintendo games. Mm-hmm. That's why you bought an NES, SNES, and 64. You bought a Sony console to play Sony games, Xbox games. But now we're getting to a situation where games are becoming so expensive to make, and the margins of them aren't as high as they used to be because one of price and just distribution rights, that you're not seeing as many exclusives anymore. There are very, very few. Sony is capitalizing on it because they understand that, hey, the reason you're buying a Sony console is to play Sony games. There might only be 10 exclusives. We want those exclusives to be the best fucking games of the year every year they come out. Yeah. And they generally pull that off. Xbox has had a really good exclusive in the entire last generation. They've had exclusives, but all of them sucked. That fucking Sea of Thieves was terrible. Crackdown 3 was atrocious. The Gears games were not bad.
Looking over here, though, you guys with fan, Manly Part Pictures, Guppy Kills, Efren John, thank you all of you guys for even being here right now. I know you guys will be leaving again soon, but thank you very much for being here. Apparently Sunday, Pokemon's going to be turning 25. That's going to be cool. We're talking about...
and I bet Nintendo will remember that one and, not sit there and give you guys the worst fucking Pokemon game for the fucking anniversary.
Yeah, Legend Michael saying, I thought the direct was solid a little bit for everyone. Okay, I agree with a little bit for everyone, but somebody in this chat, we'll get into that in a little bit, but somebody in this call right now did not agree with Nintendo Direct being okay. It was actually pretty fucking annoying. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Oh, Martin Thomas, it's your birthday today, dude. I don't know if you're listening over there, hanging out with Corey in the DT studio, but happy birthday, Martin. I saw your post.
Yes, happy birthday, dude.
Yeah, Alan, your post was actually kind of beautiful, man. We were talking about Martin.
How about Alan? Yes, I was talking about myself in a beautiful post.
No, it's just really cool because I felt the same way when I was in New York and I met Martin, man. He made me feel pretty cool. Him and Danielle, you know what I mean? I just went over there like, oh, hey, it's good old Ragnarok show. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, because for people that don't know, I'll tell the story real quick if that's okay with you.
Oh, what'd you say?
I was going to tell the post real quick for people that probably didn't read it, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so basically, because Martin's birthday, when I first went to Austin, this was 4 or 5 years ago almost. It was 30th anniversary party. And I'm fucking shaking nervous because, again, first time in the States, first time I'm meeting these guys. And I could barely speak because I was so fucking nervous. But then, right before one of the shows, I just bump into Martin. I'm kind of shaking like, hi. He's like, hey, what's up? How's it going? What's your name? I'm like, Alan, why are you so nervous, man? Let's just talk about random comic book shit or random bullshit. Tell me about your city. And after a couple of minutes, we just start chatting about random bullshit. I'm like, again, that whole very real, very down-to-earth kind of vibe. And after a while, we're just kind of chatting and stuff. And eventually, the hundreds of people kind of come in. And eventually he has to go do his typical, his host stuff where he goes talks to other people. But I got a couple minutes with him one-on-one, and that really made the rest of the night because I'm like, wow, okay, this isn't some foreign, crazy area. There are just people here.
Yeah, no, it was really, really cool, man. And like I said, I don't know a lot of people that have anything bad to say about Martin. I mean, maybe you can argue about his, takes and movies and everything too, which, most people...
I didn't bring it up because the first time I meet him, but if I ever meet him again, I was going to talk to him, like, Inception is a good movie. Yes, it's long, but it's a good... I never forget for that. I remember this is Spill.com, and I love your art. I love your opinions. I agree with you on most things, including Spider-Man 3 being good. But complaining Inception is too long! Come on.
Yeah, man, but no, I really enjoy Martin as a person, man. He's actually a really, really sweet guy. And yeah, man, just fucking podcasting for so long, and dealing with Corey. Sorry, Corey, but it's pretty impressive someone was able to take your shit for so long.
Hey, man, me and you are the same fucking way.
Yeah, exactly, right. Literally, yeah. It's I want to say I'm Corey, but. Yeah, you're Corey. I'm Martin.
You're Corey. You're Corey. Okay.
I'm
somebody make a poll in the chat between me and Nick. Which one of us is Corey? Because Nick runs the show. Are you fucking kidding me here?
No, as a person.
I don't know the reasonable opinions.
As a person, though, because Corey screams at people and you scream. Corey literally yells at the chat and you say "fuck the chat." Me and Martin are just like, "Hey, calm down. Love."
Somebody make a poll because again, I'm the more reasonable one with more reasonable opinion and I'm more into comic books.
Blasian Michael says, Nick, I listened to and watched the chat tag very first episode. Holy snaps, y'all came a long way. Super long video, 6+ hours.
Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, dude. I appreciate that so much, but man, those are some bad shows. 2015, 2016, and a little bit 2017. Very, very bad chat tag shows. So please,
basically, right to when me and Jet show up. That's when it starts getting good.
Yeah, no, legit, yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm not my own ass that much.
Yeah, but okay, well, it's fucking true. That's what you said, you bitch.
No, I just wonder what your reaction would be. You'll be like, no, we're totally fine without you.
No, man, but let me see. I'm looking over here. They're saying, who's the Coleman type? Nick. Oh, you motherfuckers.
Hi, you motherfucker.
Oh, but then watch. It's going to be like, oh, this person donated this many fucking votes, whatever. I know what's happening over here.
It doesn't fucking matter. It's still like 10. There's still a lot more. It's only like almost 10 times more.
You know, as a matter of fact, what's I'm going to do? I'm going to vote Alan. There you go. Yeah, Alan. Oh, you know what? I'm going to vote a bunch, too. Here you go.
You realize that I don't
give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
We can literally see you. And second of all, this also proves you're the Coleman type. I want to point out that he is literally just showing you how he's fucking with the vote. And you're losing!
God damn it. No, you know what? I take it as a compliment. Corey's tall, so it's alright.
What? Okay. We just saw it in real time, y'all. He started off saying, no, of course not. You're totally. Look at all the yelling to the votes. Like, well, you know what? I can turn this to it. You know what? I take that as a compliment. Y'all saw that in like 30 seconds.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Nico, yeah, you are definitely the Corey type because like you're literally the boss.
Yeah, like,
but I'm not. I don't boss people around though. I'm like scared.
Yes.
Well, no one said you're exactly like Corey, but the thing is, like, you have to take on the Corey role because you are the boss.
You literally texted me, "Hey, we're doing a review tonight. Can you watch this movie if you have time?"
You know what's fucked up though? It's like I've literally had to go through this. Like I've been everybody because like in the beginning. I was like, I was like less than Martin. I was like, just like, oh, I'm scared and Corey. And then when I was on Will Show, everyone's like, oh, he's a wannabe co-host. They got another Mexican playing a fucking robot, me being that Ragnarok shit. So it's like, oh, you're co-host. And then they got me confused with Sammy. They literally got me confused.
Yeah, someone just said in the chat, I think it was Slacker. He's like, apparently we're Sammy. I'm like, come on, we're more entertaining.
Yeah, I know, Andrew, fuck you. We're not Sammy. I fucking hate Sammy. You know what you're doing when you say that shit. You know what you're doing. But yeah, and I did yell at people a lot. I don't know, man. I'm everybody.
Did yell? That both those imply that's past tense, not current tense.
You know what's fucked up too is like Ryan goes what? Shh, and like I literally got embarrassed. I was like, oh, am I too loud? Fuck you, Ryan. Made me feel embarrassed, you son of a bitch. But apparently, oh, look at that! Like I stopped. They're picking Alan. They're actually voting Alan. Yeah.
I don't.
Holy shit.
Wait, how the fuck did that happen?
I love you, chat.
What one of y'all is fucking with this?
I love you, chat.
Okay, you know what? Fuck out. You know what?
Yes, Gene!
God damn it, Gene. 400! He did that entirely himself. Okay, fine. I'm the Coleman tech. Nick, you're fired.
Man, I knew it was gonna happen.
This is not the Alan chat attack.
That's a terrible name. Just stay the name.
Fuck that shit. No. It's the ACA. We're just gonna have a B in there called the ACAP podcast.
Jesus Christ.
There's so many right-wing people to talk shit. I realize, what the fuck is this podcast about?
Stop the count. That's literally where I'm at right now. I'm just gonna fucking do some Donald Trump's craziness. Marijuana. Hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you around here before, but hopefully you're enjoying yourself. And if you are here waiting for Corey to start saying anything with you, Film Noob69, they're gonna be starting in about 5 minutes because he just called me. So yeah, man. As soon as that happens, I'll let you guys know, and you guys can go over there and enjoy K. Coleman doing his thing. But if you guys are not following us right now, you guys should, just so you guys have something to watch when he is taking a little bit extra times to prep and whatnot, because that does happen pretty often. Like last night, we did almost a 2-hour show because we didn't know he was starting. It was fucking crazy. But anyways, we're gonna get into something though, because I mean, here's the thing: the biggest topic of the fucking night is something that we should have talked about yesterday, but I just wanted to spend more time thinking about it, etc., etc. But yeah, man, Legend of Zelda turning 35 years old. Old ass damn franchise. I gotta tell you, dude, does this make you feel pretty old? Knowing that is this old?
Considering the fact that when I started, I'm literally holding up the Hyrule Historia. I fucking hate this green screen shit so much sometimes.
Yeah, well, you're holding a green book up, so.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it would be that fucking crazy. Like, I'm gonna just turn it off for one quick second so you can see how dirty my room is. By the time I started this franchise, I was like 11 years old, so about 20 years ago. So it was about what, 15 it would have been. And it was strange because like I don't necessarily feel old. I've never gotten that mentality that everyone else does, like, oh, I totally feel old. It's like, no, I'm just surprised the franchise has stuck around this long and it's still doing interesting things. Like, it's still doing new things, and I'm just like, how are you pulling this off after all this fucking time?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's been quality. I mean, pretty much the entire time. I mean, there was a dark period, and yes, I will admit it on this special day that, yes, the CDI games weren't great, Alan, okay? Fuck you.
They were fucking terrible.
But the fact that, you know, they are so good that you're like, you know what? Like, here, Phillips, you take the game, you try to do something with it and do something different, and we'll see how it goes.
And never again.
But it's just amazing that they were so great. They're like, how can you fuck this up? Like, we'll just give it to anybody, and not even fucking the fact that no one was actually foreseeing any of that happening the way it did, or actually like moderating the making of those 2 games or 3 games actually, is kind of amazing. But it's like, it's one of those things where because they did the same thing with Hotel Mario, and those are fucking bad too. They're basically a Mario version of Crazy Castle, the Bugs Bunny games, and yeah, it's fucking crazy to me. Bad Boy saying Zelda is a franchise for me, the franchise for me. I've stayed with it all the way since the 90s with Link to the Past. And by the way, like, my first Zelda game was A Link to the Past. I don't think I've ever brought that up.
Same here, actually.
Yeah, and dude, like, the way that starts off with the rain and that music, and it's kind of like sad, and then when you say the princess is still kind of sad, like, there was a lot of that game that was so moody for being an SNES game, and I don't think I felt as moody for any other games around the 16 or 8-bit era. You know what I mean? It took me like till the PS1 days to actually have emotions like that with video games. But how about you? Like, did you get emotionally involved early on like that?
Not really. I actually legitimately, when I first played Link to the Past, I actually didn't like it. I didn't get it. It was confusing, and I really just kind of just like, whatever, I don't care. I'm gonna move on. Because again, when I started playing those games, I didn't really play video games a lot at that age. I just kind of like, whatever, I don't care. I don't know where the fuck to go, and I gave up. So when the game that actually got me into there was Ocarina of Time. And I wish I had a physical copy. I don't know why I didn't go out of my way as an adult to buy a physical copy of that fucking game. But it got me into video games. I remember playing, I had it on the 64, but I couldn't get past it because I didn't understand how the game worked, because I never really played puzzle games. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to get past this? So I just gave up and never even tried. Buddy of mine, starts talking about it. He's like, hey, can you, I'm playing this game. Come over and watch me play. I'm like, what is this? Ocarina of Time? I don't like this. And he's like going through this part. I'm like, wait, that's how you get past this? What the fuck? Okay. And I went back home and I played it myself. And I started falling in love with it. I started finally getting through to some of the story. And it was one of those things that, like, it connected to me on such a fucking weird emotional level. Because when you're playing Ocarina of Time, you're playing as this tiny child who everyone in the fucking village hates. So 11-year-old me could really relate to that. And he just gets tasked like, hey, you have to save everybody. And he goes, okay, well, how do I do it? And he has to fight giant monsters and go into temples and solve problems and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And I'm like, wait, so this isn't some military strongman or Arnold Schwarzenegger type. No, this is a small kid that's fighting dragons and dinosaurs and going into temples and shit. I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking amazing. And then it just kept getting better and better, where it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're adding time travel in here. So you get to go become this badass adult with all these new weapons and shit. And it just kept doing more and more different things. I didn't think games like that could exist. Because I grew up on fucking Mario, where everything was jump a bunch of times and the level's over. Now jump a bunch of other times and the level's also over.
Yeah.
But you have this game where it's like, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, but because I mean, everything you said about Ocarina of Time, and then I feel like you're talking about Majora's Mask now, where the whole time thing or whatever, and it's like,
well, no, because Ocarina of Time has it where you go to the future and become your badass adult, but then you also travel, you also transmit back. It's not just hey, go to the future, you're done. No, you go back and forth, and you do all stuff that you did in the past affects the future and vice versa. And I just never imagined a game could do that. It blew my mind because again, I grew up on Mario. I grew up on Nintendo games where all it was go from one level to the next. But this, I'm affecting the entire world. I have to save the whole world. And when I finished and played it, I was like, wow, this is so fucking amazing. Let me play the next one. And you brought up Majora's Mask. That's the next game I went to. And I played. I was like, wow, this is great. But it doesn't make me feel the same way.
Yeah,
why doesn't it make?
He's over here hosting us. Thank you very much, Gary. And look at this guy dance his ass off. No, I completely agree with you on that. And here's the thing: is like for me, when I played Link to the Past, that was pretty much it for a while. And I played a little bit of Ocarina of Time, and just like you, dude, I was confused. I didn't like it. And then I kind of stayed away for a very, very long time. I played like the Game Boy Advance games and things like that. And then when I came back into the series, and this is way past Wind Waker and everything. This is past Twilight Princess. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get the emulators. I'm gonna play these games again. I played the first one, didn't dig it. I played the second one, loved it. I played Oracle of Ages, all those games, and then the biggest thing is that when I got into Majora's Mask and I started feeling like, okay, look, when you care about Mario or when you care about Solid Snake or Dante or Jill Valentine, whatever the fuck, these are the main characters. It's honestly, and I know it's like kind of like a lazy way of thinking about these kind of characters, but it's like you expect them to be written well. So if every other character is not that interesting, you kind of forgive it. I mean, if you ever thought about how many games that we just kind of give a pass to because we're like, oh, well, as long as I got this one character right, then that's cool because that's the guy's name. But, like, you should do something with all these other thousands of characters, because especially with Resident Evil and Metal Gear Solid, there's a lot of people that we don't get to know a lot more about.
Exactly, yeah.
And with Zelda, it's like, I mean, granted, the same issues there, but at the same time, like, we got to learn more about, like, the Gorons. We got to learn about this fucking dude that was in the water, that guitar.
Oh, yeah, the Zoras, yeah.
And I was like, I can't believe this, but, like, I give a fuck more about people that's not just Link. And I'm like, you guys are telling stories, and this is a Nintendo game. This is N64. It's not like Metal Gear Solid came out the same year of Ocarina of Time did, in 1998. Or was it 98 or was it 96 or something?
I thought it was 97, but it could be wrong.
Yeah, but around there, and they came out around the same time. And it's like, with Metal Gear Solid, you know, Hideo Kojima has been trying to tell stories with that whole character and that whole world for a very long time at that point, like since 1991. And so that's kind of you know, it's to be expected. But with Nintendo, they never really had to do that. They're just like, hey, we do platformers, we do goofy shit, we do things for kids.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ocarina of Time didn't feel like it was just for kids. It was like a really good storyline for everybody. And
exactly, 100%. And that's when Majora's Mask kind of came in, where it's like, we're doing completely different things. We're fucking around with time a lot more. We're doing a lot of weird stuff, and especially playing that, I'm like, I love everything about Majora's Mask, but it wasn't as good as Ocarina of Time. I think one of the reasons was it was a lot shorter, because it was supposed to be a DLC addition to it. But it doesn't stop for the fact that it's incredibly dark, really dark for a Nintendo game in general, really dark for Ocarina compared to Ocarina of Time, which has its dark moments, but this one is like a whole level of none of your actions matter and all this is pointless until you beat the final boss.
Yeah, but to talk about more so of just like this whole, you know, this basically this video game fucking holiday. Oh, I hit the wrong button there. Jesus Christ. Anyways, but no, I noticed when I was looking for topics yesterday, and this is something that you brought up to me. You know, you're just like, dude, it's Legend of Zelda's birthday, and this was like on February 21st, I believe it was.
Yeah, a couple days ago.
Yeah, and the thing is something this massive is probably something that none of us would have missed normally. But apparently Nintendo didn't actually put anything out on their social media about this. They just kind of like I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. And I mean, granted, like that hashtag is doing very good. It's called like Zelda35, hashtag Zelda35, something like that, and that's cool. But like, I don't like looking through Twitter, and I don't like looking through all that. You know, my investigative endeavors are not going to go fucking crazy when it comes to social media. I'm not going to look through Nintendo shit. So maybe they did change it. Maybe they did say, hey, you know, we love Zelda, happy 35, whatever. But I gotta ask you, do you think there's something that they were doing this on purpose for? Like, do you think that maybe it's like, okay, you know, Pokemon's coming up soon for the 25th anniversary. And granted, here's the biggest thing too, when I was looking up this stuff. Technically, it came out February 21st, 1986 in Japan. But it was 1987 when it came out in Europe and United States.
Yeah, it's very strange of like what the actual, like, honestly, in all honesty, as much as I love this franchise, I've loved this franchise from, again, the moment I played Ocarina of Time to this very fucking day. I literally saw the Hyrule story. Nintendo doesn't, not in the sense of they don't like the series, because they do. They keep around. Is that Legend of Zelda games don't sell the same units that Mario Pokemon does. Not even in the same ballpark. Not even top 10. Like, there are other franchises that they have that sell way more units. Like Mario can't like lose anytime it releases anything associated with it in a month. It's the best-selling title. So of course they're gonna remember that. It's the thing that started them. They're what they're most known for. But Legend of Zelda has always been the experimental, and people are like, "Oh, experimental, it's the same thing." It really isn't. It's extremely experimental. They do all sorts of weird, crazy stuff in there that nobody else would even think about at the time, and they get away with something. Like someone just said, you know, Majora's Mask is an E for everyone game that feels like an M for mature game. Like, they experiment a lot with that. But at the end of it, it doesn't, like, as much as they use it to sell consoles, like they sold the Wii with Twilight Princess, and they sold the fucking Wii U with Breath of the Wild, and Switch with Breath of the Wild. Like, they sold those consoles with those games, but they don't sell the units that Mario does. If they had a Mario game in place, they would have. So it's like, it's I get it from their perspective if they don't care about it as much, but I'm too close to it, so I'm mad that they didn't acknowledge it.
Yeah, man, because that's the biggest thing. It's like next month is going to be Mario month. I think March 10th is the Mario Day. And I think
let's just forget about Zelda. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's annoying because it's like, because here's the thing, and I'm going to like skip ahead too because I have some bullet point fucking things I want to discuss really quick. One of the biggest things I wanted to discuss, if I can actually find it here in my notes, but Zelda, or Legend of Zelda franchise, taking off the spin-offs, because, I mean, that shit gets a little muddled. But apparently there's 19...
I want to guess. I want to guess how many, taking off the spin-offs, I want to guess how many games there are. I don't want to say there's 13.
Okay, there's 19. You're close.
Oh, really? 19?
Yeah, well, I was surprised, too, because now I'm starting to think, too, it's like, okay, when it comes to, you know, the major titles, I've counted a bunch of them, because I'm trying to, like... because they do things like technically that Switch game that came out 2 years ago, Link's Awakening, that counts as a major game, but it's a remake. So it's like, for me personally, I don't count those as main games. You're just you're playing a shader or something like on another game that already existed fucking 20 years ago. But whatever, that's what they call. But with 19 games, and then Mario having so many games, I think they're like at 25 or something like that. I'm starting to think here, it's like, is Zelda and Mario the franchises with the most games ever? Like, is there anybody else that has even close?
If you're talking about sequels, probably, because if you're talking about iterations, Tetris will always win, because there's like a Tetris game every fucking year, but it's essentially like, they variation, but it's not called Tetris 2, which is like Tetris Attack and Tetris Extreme. It's still Tetris. But I want to say, outside Final Fantasy, I think will beat it.
Oh, you're right.
That's the only one on top of my head, but they've literally probably released like 4 of those a year ever since 7 existed. That's the only one I think could come close. But like, as far as the ones
games, I don't think those count.
Those don't count because it's the same shit. But like, even then, like, it depends. It depends because there's been so many changes. Because if you're talking about the FIFA isn't the same FIFA that it was back in the day. Once you're adding the years and EA took it over, it became a different franchise.
Yeah, every 2 years FIFA does a big change, and with Madden, every 3 years it does a big change. Like, I will tell you, Madden,
and usually the roster.
Well, no, every year's roster, but like fundamental gameplay mechanics and modes, I think Madden changes every 3 years. Like, if you play Madden 16 and Madden 19, you're going to be like, oh shit, like, is this, who owns them now? Because this is completely a different game.
And I want to bring up something something I just remembered that I want to talk about as far as the Legend of Zelda franchise. One of the things that when I played Majora's Mask, I immediately realized, as much as I love aspects of this game, it's not as good as Ocarina of Time. That was the first time I ever formed an opinion on a video game. Because up until then, I didn't play video games at all. Like, I played a little bit here and there, but I didn't really give a shit. I was like, whatever. I never even played. Ocarina of Time was the first game I beat. So the next game I beat is like, this isn't as good. So I realized, I have an opinion. Now let me just start playing a fucking 100 tons of games. And fast forward to here we are now. But one of the things is that I kept playing Legend of Zelda games exclusively because I'm like, I want to see if there's a game better than Ocarina of Time. Every iteration of the Legend of Zelda franchise has something interesting and unique to it. Because you're talking about like every 3 years Madden changes. Every game in the Legend of Zelda franchise is different. Because I'm sure, it's just the same shit over and over again. Tell me one similarity outside the themes of the game between Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time. Entirely unique combat system. The entire world is underwater, so it's entire sailing fucking mechanic. Like, the temples they might have the same themes as far as fire, ice, and water, whatever the fuck, but they're completely different monsters, completely different tools. Like, every single one is a completely genre-defining game. Breath of the Wild is not Skyward Sword.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, like, because I'm curious about this too, and this could be something that keeps people outside of the franchise and doesn't allow them to play. Jed, I'm going to ask you really quick if you're there. When's like the closest you've ever been to kind of diving into the world of Zelda? Like, because you've seen different kinds of Zeldas. Has there ever been one that you're like, you know what, I am interested in how how that plays out?
Well, I mean, I played Ocarina, and I played one on Game Boy Advance. I forgot which one that was. So I'm pretty sure there was 2 of them at that time.
Yeah,
I also played one on Game Boy Advance too.
Was that Spirit
And
Tracks?
then I also played...
No, that was the DS. You might be talking about Minish Cap, but then it also might need a port.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there was one that came with 2 different versions.
Ochre of Ages, yeah. But what'd you think about those? Like, I mean, let's start off with Ocarina of Time, Jet. Like, what'd you feel about that? I mean, did you play it when it was new, by the way?
No, I played it when it came to GameCube.
Okay. And what'd you feel about it?
I mean, I liked it, but I couldn't finish it because it was way too hard.
It is fucking so hard.
And I kept getting confused, so I didn't know what to do, so I just kind of put it down. Oh, the one I actually had the most fun with was actually 4 Swords.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 4 Swords Adventure, yeah. That is the shit, yeah.
You can actually play with other people in that one, and they used to pop me in the mouth and slap the shit out of me because I kept making them die.
Yeah.
On purpose, that is. Because, I mean, like, you get bombs and stuff like that, and they say something mean to you, and you're just like, okay, then fine, I'm just going to kill your fucking character. That got me beat up so many fucking times.
Yeah, because, no, and that's a weird concept that I'm, like, surprised they didn't continue doing that. But that's another thing that's cool about the Legend of Zelda franchise, that sometimes they, like, fuck with an idea, like, oh, let's have a handheld game that's multiplayer. Okay, now let's not do that next game, and let's do something else. And granted, you would think that's a bad thing, but Jeff, I'm going to ask you, do you feel like if they continued doing shit like that, you would have still played the games, or is changing the way the game is, does it turn you off a little bit and make you not want to play the sequel after sequel after sequel?
I mean, I'm interested in playing more of them. It's just like I just don't have time. I'm busy. Like those are big. Those are long and big games. Just like you really have to just spend your time actually playing those to actually finish them. And like some of them are actually pretty hard too. So you really have to just like spend a whole day playing those.
I will say, I really appreciate about Legend of Zelda 2? Never has there been a moment where it's like, oh yeah, so this game just doesn't fucking work, or oh, this game has a bunch of DLC or a bunch of fucking transactions. They've never done it with Zelda. Even Mario has a little bit of that with like Mario Brothers 35 and like I think one other game. But like, yeah, Legend of Zelda is like one of those franchises where it's never like in the bad news, sector of the internet.
Yeah, which is, again, it's always, which I love about it. But one of the things you brought up is like, what Jeff brought up is like, hey, this game's super confusing. I can't play it. The Legend of Zelda franchise, I didn't realize this until I was a buddy of ours, Anthony. He's never played a Zelda game, so I always go, if you've never played a Legend of Zelda game, go play Wind Waker. To this day, like, it is honestly, if you take Ocarina of Time out, it is the best Zelda game. It has the best story. It has some of the best music. It is fucking hilarious. And it's a lot more colorful. It's less dark than the other one, so you probably will be less depressed. But there's a lot of good stuff to it. But there was this one point where it's like, go open that door. And he's like, how? Like, you'll figure it out. Starts running around in a circle because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I'm like, just open the door. It's like, well, how? You see two light switches, right? You see two fire things, right? Yeah. One of them isn't on fire, right? Yeah. Light it on fire. Door opens. I'm like, yeah, go through. It then clicked to me. That makes no goddamn fucking sense.
Yeah. Because I was confused around too. I'm like, wait, I don't know if he's an idiot because I'm confused. Like, how did he open the door?
I was like, look at it, and I'm just like, yo, Legend of Zelda games have no external consistency. Where if you have no idea how to play a Legend of Zelda game, it makes no sense to play a Legend of Zelda game. But as soon as you play one, you get the mechanics because some of the mechanics go forward. Like, there's two poles, one of them's on fire, light the other one on fire, and open something. That's basic Legend of Zelda logic. So it's internal logic is fine. External logic is like, yeah, normal RPGs don't work like that.
Yeah, exactly. Really quick, let me see if this thing's fucking up over here. Okay. Because I gotta do something for Corey while we're talking. But aside from that too, the one thing I wanted to bring up as well is like the tonality of the games. Because like we're talking about like the gameplay and everything and how they've changed, with each incarnation of Zelda.
Yeah.
But for me, and you brought this up earlier, like, oh, well, like, Wind Waker's fine because it's, not so dark. But for me, I don't think Legend of Zelda is dark enough because there's shit, like, especially with Ganon and what happens in the second half of A Link to the Past. I'm like, this shit's so dark and they still have, like, happy music and shit going on. How far do you think the tonality can be as far as dark-wise? Like, do you think it'll ever go, like, not survival horror-ish, but, like, really, really... dark tones.
What do you mean it won't go survival horror? I literally had nightmares in Ocarina of Time because there's this in the fucking Shadow Temple. If a hand will just grab you.
I forgot.
And the only way you can tell is you see this. It basically the circle shadow, and if it gets underneath you, the thing just grabs you. And I start screaming every goddamn fucking time because it just appears out of nowhere. You're like, oh fuck! And that's just the start of it. The re-deads, those things are fucking terrifying. They just stand still. They're just standing here and they're like this husk of a zombie. And if you get too close, to start screaming at you, and then they'll just jump and bear hug you and take half your health off. That game is fucking terrifying, dude.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that shit. But that's like that one temple, though. And well, actually, there's a couple parts like in the Lost Woods is kind of creepy.
And the Lost Woods. The Lost Woods is a fucking nightmare for people with anxiety.
Dude, like, yeah, just being lost. And, man, they do a really good job at that. Like, it's annoying, too, because, like, in Link's Adventure, that happens with me. Or Link's Awakening, that's what it's called. But, like, even that, I'm like, dude, like, why am I confused this fast into the game? And yet, like, this is kind of made for kids where, once again, it slaps me across the face of, like, dude, stop looking at these games because they're not, like, grown adults shooting people.
Yeah. As he dies.
I just jumped.
Anyway, well, next time. But as far as, like, tonality changes, it's like, They often change tones as per game because again, Wind Waker's too like criticisms to the Legend of Zelda franchise immediately get rectified in the next one or completely fucking removed. People hated the sailing and hated the cartoony look of Wind Waker. So what do? They went the complete opposite of we're gonna make a more traditional Zelda game. We're gonna make it a lot darker, but it was never as dark as Majora's Mask because it never fixated on death. It was more of, we're going to make it like Lord of the Rings, right down to the fucking theme for that trailer, which I fucking love. And I like Twilight Princess. I just don't think it's as good as the other Zelda games.
Dude, by the way, water going down the wrong pipe is the worst fucking thing in the world.
A little bit.
Anyways, no, but like, when it comes to that shit, though, it's like we gotta stop like looking at games like, oh, it's just for kids, because I gotta tell you, dude, like some of the like Origami King, the fucking Paper Mario game, that shit is so confusing. Like I'm like yelling.
Anyone that says Mario games are made for kids is a goddamn liar.
Dude, yeah, like oh my god, there's so many. Like, dude, Mario 64, like that game's still fucking Mario Galaxy. Like, holy shit. That shit's so confusing.
Any of the Mario games, the new Super Mario Brothers is so fucking difficult. I was legitimately having problems getting past like levels. I'm like, how the fuck is this made for kids? Oh, it's not made for kids. It's just eat for everybody.
Yeah. Which is like, I mean, that's now super emphasized, you know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. But, and yo, what's up, people in the chat? Let me see over here. Something's going on with our thing wasn't refreshing or whatever. But I think it's working now, so hopefully we're all good. But yeah, Josh in the chat saying yo and everything. And spiders, dude, yeah, like Game Boy SP saying Ocarina of Time spiders is just pure jump scare, which I usually hate that games, but they do it pretty good too.
Yep.
But we talked about this so much. I now want to like spend our time doing this really quick, and I've never done one of these before, but I felt like this is a prime time, dude, for us to talk about finally see if we can actually combine our opinions and actually agree on something, which I think we will. But Tier Maker, this is a site that's been a thing for a while. Like last year, people were doing this for fucking everything.
They do this for Smash a lot. Like, I feel like this started here, where I see this all the time for people that do Smash. So for people that don't understand how this works, this is from more of a Japanese action game. S is the top. It's above A. Then you have A, B, C, D. So it's like the very top, upmost, like number 1, and then you have like B, which is like 2 to 3. Then keep going down to you have D's, which is like the bottom tiers.
Yeah, exactly. So this, they have a couple games listed down here.
Oh, I gotta piss some motherfuckers off right now.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm scared.
Let's start no, fuck it. You want to make this fast? Let's go. Instead of going from S to D, let's go D to S. Because it's gonna be way easier to get rid of the shitty Zelda games.
True. Okay, that's a good. And I know some people do that pretty often.
Yeah, let's change it up. That way you can get surprised with what the fuck's number 1. Skyward Sword is D. Immediately.
Okay, so we can't do that.
It's the worst Zelda game ever made.
Jed, what are your thoughts on Skyward Sword? Because we're going to put all of our grades together and see where we'll land up. So he says D for Skyward Sword. Jed, what would you say, even if you haven't played it yet?
I mean, I never played it, but it didn't look that bad. Like it looked like a decent game. Like not like Zelda crossbow training to where it's just like you just crossbow.
Are we counting that on this list?
Yeah. Oh, no, sure.
That's a spin-off game. That's like making a Resident Evil fucking tier list and putting fucking Dark Side Chronicles on there.
CD games on this list?
No, so they did not put those in because they're just like, listen, they're all bad. And by the way, I would have put them as C. So let's not.
Oh, you're crazy. So fucking up your own ass.
I'm sorry, it's not that bad, you motherfucker. It really
is terrible. So yeah, drag and drop or whatever. Because Skyward Sword is D. Like even if you don't think it's a bad game, it's the worst Zelda game.
Okay,
easily.
Well, I'm trying to scroll. I'm going to scroll this far into it.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Where is that? There it is, right here. Like it would be the fucking Sky one. So we're gonna go back.
Yeah, yeah, Nick.
Well, because there's a lot of skies here, motherfucker. But like this one right here, like the sun is like the letters all small. But you said it's D. I disagree. 100%. I actually really liked it a lot. So I think C is the fair place to play.
It's the no. I mean, yes, you said Jet is shit. I know, but like, fuck you.
God damn you.
What are you gonna say is worse than Skyward Sword?
I gotta be honest, I did not like Phantom Hourglass, and I didn't play a lot of it. I just saw lots.
I loved it. I played. I beat it. The reason I can understand not a lot of people liking it is because much like Skyward Sword it used the gimmick of the DS a lot. But I like the way they use the combat. I like the temples. I like the how you actually were able to like you right on your map that you needed to. The only problem is it's very repetitive. Like there's a very repetitive sequence in order to get like the next like item or the next thing, the next map to the next area, you essentially have to go through the entire fucking temples over and over and over again, and that became very repetitive. But I'm not gonna say it's worse than Skyward Sword. I still had fun.
I think it's like on the same thing of Skyward Sword. I feel like that's definitely C quality.
I'll give it C quality.
All right. Let's put that right there. Now, Jed, I'm going to ask you something really quick. Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Are they pretty much similar? Like, are they basically the same type of game?
I mean, there's like a couple differences. I mean, like I got both of them at the same time, like my brother did. He played one, I played the other, and I mean, there's very, very small differences, but they're both basically the same game.
So where do you think they should go? Where would you put them at?
Huh.
I would put those at maybe B tier.
B tier. How about you, Alan?
I've actually never played them. That's one of the few Zelda games I've never actually played. So I wouldn't really know where to put them. Looking it up, apparently it's like they are relatively different games, but I've never heard anyone talk bad about them. So I would almost put them C as well because I don't know, but I don't think they're bad.
Well, you know what? I trust Jeff's opinion so very much, and I've seen gameplay of this, and I was like, oh, where do they want to play that? So I think those definitely belong in B tier right there. Now, this is where I'm going to piss people off, and that's why I'm doing this in the sense of like I don't want to like just be nothing but positive or just nothing but negative. I think we should go back and forth with it. And for me, I gotta tell you guys, this game, even the remake, is a piece of shit. I do not like this remake at all. And I think that the original was pretty terrible too. Link's Awakening is a fucking D. D. I do not like that game. It is fucking garbage.
Wait, is Link to the Past 2 on this? Or Link Between Worlds?
I do not believe... Oh, yeah, yes, it is.
I'll put that as a D as well. Because I legitimately...
Son of a bitch!
Like, hey, you put Link's Awakening. I get a fucking old school one to put on there. I think it goes against almost everything in the Legend of Zelda franchise. I don't think, all the changes are bad. It's not. That's one of the biggest problems with doing updated changes. It doesn't mean they're good. Almost all of them are fucking terrible, and I hope they never take half those shitty mechanics and put them into video games again. And if you're wondering why I'm freaking out, Link Between Worlds is just a lost Paper Mario game that they just threw fucking Zelda on, and it's like, hey, you know how Legend of Zelda, you go through the temples and you earn the weapons? Not buy them all. And as long as you don't die, you can play a Legend of Zelda game, you get to keep them all. So you just breeze through this fucking game, and you're like, this is so fucking boring. I fucking hate everything about this.
Okay, I see your point there. I'm going to say another B quality game. I think Spirit Tracks was actually pretty fucking cool. I like the map system. This was one of my favorite Nintendo DS fucking games.
Yeah.
I think this goes high up there. But Jet, have you played Spirit Tracks?
No, I have not. I did have it on DS, but never got a chance to play it.
Oh, how dare you. How about you, Alan?
I played it for about halfway through the game. Then my brother, for some fucking reason, took my game and started playing it, and I didn't know where the fuck I was, and I never went back to it, but I do remember enjoying it.
Okay, so do you?
But I wouldn't give it B tier. I would give it the same tier as Phantom Hourglass because it has some of the same problems and some of the same length problems. So I wouldn't really give it anything more than a C rank.
Okay, I can see that being the case. So we'll go ahead and put it right here on C. Now, Four Swords Adventures. So I didn't play this at all. So I'm gonna leave this up to Jet. Jet, where do you think the Four Swords Adventure should go?
Me personally, I thought it was fun as shit. But at the same time, like, if you're playing with someone else and someone's fucking you up, like, it does get irritating. Mm-hmm. So I would give that a B tier.
A B tier, okay, cool. With that being the case, I gotta say, let's go ahead and start getting a little nicer here. This should also be B because it is Four Swords, but I'm gonna put it on A. It's the Four Swords Link to the Past combination here. That needs to be an A because we'll get into Link to the Past later on. But
wait, sorry. This is Four Swords plus Link. What is that?
A Link to the Past and Four Swords combined.
So that's a pack. Why is that a separate game? Or
see, that's what's weird. I don't know why it's on here. You want to just take this completely off the list because that's kind of
take it off because it's two games combined into one.
Yeah, we'll take that off the list. Okay, now I'm gonna say something else a little controversial.
What?
I'm scared.
If you put Ocarina of Time anything lower than S, you are not my friend anymore.
But Legend of Zelda, the original.
Oh, the
original.
This is
not really a great game. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know it's a birthday. Gotta be nice to it because it's a birthday. Blah blah blah.
Okay, but it was a monumental game for its time. You can't put anything lower than. I want to say it has to be B, only because, and I never played it, but it started off a franchise. It was revolutionary for its time and did things like. There are games that might have been similar at the time, but nobody exploded as much as that game. I would give it a B. Like, I think it deserves that much.
I will say that because of it not even aging better than fucking like, I mean, there's an Atari game that literally is basically what Legend of Zelda was, and I think it did a much better job, especially being less confusing. I was about to give this a D, but I was like, hey, it is, the save feature was pretty cool. I love the music. I'm gonna give it a very, very low C. You gave it a B. I think we should still put it at C because I was almost going to give it a D, so it'd be kind of like right in the middle of a B and a D.
Yeah.
right here. I am sorry, people. I know it's gonna piss people off, but I'm telling you.
I've never played it, so well, I'm surprised they never did a remake of that one.
Yeah, especially now. Why are we fucking doing Skyward Sword? Oh, we'll talk about that in a bit. But god damn it, dude! Like, what the fuck? So, anyways, now this is gonna be your chance to go on your fucking little nerdy goddamn piece of shit bullshit. Where do you think Ocarina of Time should go, man?
Well, Ocarina of Time, it didn't really age well, and random bullshit that Nick's gonna say, and the graphs were, I was at a fucking S rank. Are you kidding me? It's my favorite game ever made. Number one. If I ever made a fucking top 10 list of games I ever made, it is number fucking one because it revolutionized the fucking industry. But it's also a fucking incredible game that goes places and does things that games weren't doing back then. It is so much fucking fun. I've beaten that game like 13 fucking times. I really got to go through another playthrough of that fucking game. But you can't give it anything lower than an S because it is the best game in the franchise.
For me, I would give it a B. But here's the thing, I will still.
B?
Yeah, I would give it a B. Which this would happen normally if it was just me and you. It would go an A because of that. Because your S, my B makes an A.
Oh, you're not my friend anymore.
But there is somebody else in this call, and she's gonna be a big tiebreaker, and she's gonna decide where this is gonna go. Jet, what do you feel about Ocarina of Time? What would you rate that, as far as this list goes? I think she's gone.
Yeah, sorry, I thought I was still unmuted. I mean, it is considered the best with a lot of fans and everything like that. But me personally, because it was literally so hard and I wasn't able to finish it, while I did have fun with it while I was playing it, I can't really give it that S tier. Mm-hmm. But I'll say I was intrigued by the story and all that from what I did get through. I'd put it an A tier.
Okay, so his S, your A, my B. It still goes an S because there's more of a happy, positive.
You got damn right. I have a gun to him off screen.
I fucking hate my mouse.
Good.
Yeah, good. Fuck you, goddammit.
No. I didn't realize we just fucked the tier up. Aww.
Okay.
That sucks. So we're not gonna be able to fix it.
There we go. Now it's fixed. All right. Jesus.
Oh, good.
I gotta upgrade all my shit, but my life is fucking garbage.
Yeah. Stop. I gotta get you. I gotta recommend you a Corsair mouse. Or just buy you one of those fucking things.
But anyways, yeah. So there's that. I'm actually pretty upset. I was hoping Jet was gonna agree with me, but goddammit, your A and his S. Fuck you.
Yeah. By the way, I want to point out that's the last. There's only one other title on this that I'm gonna give an S rank to. Everything else would be A. Well, every other one would be A.
Okay, now, what's the other one? What's the other S tier that you're talking about?
Wind Waker.
Oh, I haven't played it yet, so I can't say. And
if you take again, we'll talk about it right now. If you take Ocarina of Time never existed, it disappeared off the face of the earth. Wind Waker is the best Zelda game because it has the best combat system that the game's ever had and never went back to. The open world is fucking phenomenal from the sailing. It feels like you're on a real adventure. The puzzles are all interesting, and the way they use the items are really creative, where you combine items at some points to fight bosses and stuff. The places it goes and does to the world and how it changes it is incredible. The final boss fight with Ganon is so good. They just did it again in Breath of the Wild, where you fight 4 different versions of them. It's much better in Wind Waker, but it's like there is not a single. The only thing that's bad about that game are people. I don't like sailing and it's cartoony. It's like, okay, really? It's a venture. It's not going to take 2 minutes to go across Hyrule. It's going to take some fucking time.
Now, here's my thing. Because, and this is one of those things where people probably get confused with my ratings and whatnot. But, like, even in movies, if something's boring and I just enjoy it because I enjoy the way it was made or whatever, but I understand that it's not the best game or whatever, it could be my favorite, but I understand where it belongs. There's probably a lot of things wrong with Adventure of Link, Zelda 2. And it is my favorite Zelda game. It really, really is, especially for its time and the amount of gameplay I've had with it. But it does not deserve to be an S. I can admit to that. Okay. So, with that said, I'm going to put an A, but I got to ask your opinion, though, Alan. Wait, have you played Adventure of Link?
I've never played Adventure of Link, but in all honesty, I saw somebody else in the chat saying it's a good game. I don't really have an opinion on it. I've never heard anything bad about it. I've never heard anything good about it. You're literally the only person I've ever heard of even speak about that game. So at this point, I'll defer it to Jack because I don't have an opinion on it. Maybe I'll play it one day, but it's like I have no idea.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in A.
Hey, don't worry, DJ Miles. I got you. Wind Waker. Wait, Breath of the Wild. Nah, I'm gonna be controversial. If you want to stick around for Breath of the Wild, I'm gonna be controversial on that one.
Oh yeah, because that's gonna be our last one. So that should be interesting.
No, that's gonna be controversial as fuck.
We're not gonna do Link to the Past and Four Swords right there, but we have to do a Link to the Past. This is so an A.
A
So
rank,
an
I
A.
agree.
Yeah.
As much as I personally don't like it, and mostly because it's obtuse as fuck, it like there are two conversations when it comes to the best Legend of Zelda game: Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past. So I can't sit there and be like, no, that's totally C tier because I don't like it. It's like, no. I have to understand the franchise that I'm in.
Mask?
Oh, which one?
I would put. Oh yeah, that's the next one, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like when it comes to like the best two, I thought it was usually between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Funny thing is not a lot of people like Majora's Mask for the because of the time travel or the fact that you have to reset every 3 days.
Yeah, and it's a really cool.
That was a huge problem for a lot of gamers. I loved it, but it was a huge problem for people.
For me, looking back at this list, I gotta tell you right away that Minish Cap, I didn't really dig it. I played a little.
I would give it a B. I think that it was the first time. It was one of the few times in which Nintendo didn't make a Zelda game, and it was actually fantastic. Because Oracle Ages, Oracle Seasons, and Minish Cap are all made by Capcom, different developers, but they're made by Capcom. But it was one of those things where it's like the Minish Cap had an interesting idea. I really liked what was going on, and it was just a fun series of adventures. Like I wish I could play that on contemporary console. The only way I could really play it is get a Game Boy Advance or play it on an emulator. But it's a lot of fun. But B tier is fair.
A Link Between Worlds. So I forgot because I know you brought it up earlier. I don't know where you're wanting me to put it.
Oh, I put it as a D rank. I think that game is terrible.
So for me, I fucking love it so fucking much. This is such a great game. I'm so surprised that we disagree with it so heavily, man. You know, when it comes to the graphics, I like it a lot. I like the.
It's the Lost Paper Mario game.
Yeah, but it's still fun. And it looks so different. And it feels good.
Don't call it Legend of Zelda. Call it random dude with a bunch of weapons.
You give it a D, I give it a B. It's going to go in a C, and I'm set that on
Fine,
our list.
go right beside the other trash.
Those are not. Well, okay, no.
You're right, but Skyward Sword's there, so fuck it.
Skyward Sword's not that bad. God damn you!
Yes, it is. You never played it.
I did. I beat like the first 2 bosses, but I played a lot of it. It was fun as fuck.
Yeah, that first temple is terrible, and that second temple is fantastic. It's the only good one in the entire game.
I hate you. Anyway,
and no DJ Miles. Link Between Worlds is terrible.
No, but I agree. It's definitely B tier, but we disagree so heavily. It has to be a C. But here's the thing, though. Twilight Princess. We've never talked about this. I don't think, and our friendship, we've never talked about this. Yeah. I love what they were going with. I don't think that game is as fun as it should be. But god damn, I love where they're going with it, man. Like that storyline and the feel of it and everything. God, I love that game. But it's the game I've played the least because, like, even after I beat it, I'm like, I don't want to play this ever again. Not to say it's horrible, but it just was not fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's a really weird concept.
I think at the end of the day, when it comes to Twilight Princess to me is good, but is not as good as any of the Zelda games because it was a direct criticism to everything that the Legend of Zelda franchise was. Because people wanted because at this point, this was a GameCube. So Nintendo was not being a mature console. They weren't doing for mature games. They weren't doing the mature consoles. They weren't doing the Halos. They weren't doing the God of Wars. They weren't essentially God of War was a direct everything that God of War was doing around that time directly criticized what the Legend of Zelda was doing. So when Twilight Princess came out, they're like, we need to be darker. So they made it close. It's one of the only T15 Zelda games. Like every other Zelda game is ever mature. This is the only one that's T14. So they made it more mature in that aspect. They tried to make it more realistic with the graphics, but people are like, it looks kind of washed out. They tried to do a lot more stuff with the game, making it darker, but it never really fit. It felt like they were rushing too hard to be a contemporary RPG instead of what's sticky to what Legend of Zelda always was, which is kind of happy-go-lucky with some dark elements. It's like, no, we're going to be a dark, gritty fucking, early 2000s fucking RPG. And sometimes it nails. Like, you go to the dark world and it nails it. But other times it's like, it's not dark enough. Like, there are parts where I'm like, this isn't that bad compared to Majora's Mask.
Yeah. And my whole thing when it comes to Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword especially, Skyward Sword, and I won't go into a big argument with you about this, but like I feel like the game is great. But what Skyward Sword didn't do is something I feel like happens a lot with like main franchises, is they kind of don't read the room. The direction they were going with Twilight Princess, even if the game wasn't so
The problem is they did. The problem is they read the room, but they took the advice of people that are essentially outsiders looking in going, well, I want to play God of War, but with Link. Yeah, they're not Zelda fans.
Yeah, and that's the problem. So I guess you're right as far as like my wording in that goes. But I still feel like, Skyward Sword should have been more dark, and it should have been more...
I give it a B tier, because I'm looking at DJ Miles as I come B tier, and I wouldn't cry if you guys gave it a C. It has to be lower. It has to be a lot lower than Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time and all those other games. I'd have to give it a B tier, because as much as you know what, it's not as good as the other games. That game has so much content for it. It is almost as long as the other games, but like you're going from like the ground underwater. There's a lot of cool fights and there's a lot of cool boss battles. The underwater one where you have to fight literally underwater is fucking fun as hell. So I can't sit there and say I never had fun with the game. I had a lot of fun with the game, but there's also a lot of stuff I didn't like.
For me, most of the B tiers I haven't played, and I'm looking at C tiers, and it's like I played, Legend of Zelda, the first one, way more times. Link Between Worlds I played more times. Skyward Sword I've enjoyed a lot more than Twilight Princess as far as like the actual gameplay. I had to give it a C, and I give it almost like a low C, close to D. Even though I really like the direction they're going, I feel like I feel more strongly about this game being a C than you do of it being a B. Are you willing to kind of go on my side and let me put it on C?
I know, only because of the fact that you would be putting it right beside Skyward Sword, and no. But but the thing is, it's something that DJ Miles brings up is the Beyblade boss battle, or because the thing is, the game has awesome boss battles, but it has the same problem that the Majora's Mask has, is some of the items you get in that game are only useful in that temple. Like, you get the bow and arrow at some point, you can use it anywhere. You get the fucking boomerang, you can get it you can use it anywhere. You get other weapons and you can use them in the overworld. You literally can't use that Beyblade anywhere else outside that temple. And then they also have that weird that ice temple is totally just garbage. But you also have that weird spinning mace ball, which you can't use anywhere else because it's not viable. So it's like, there are a lot of problems, but the good parts are fantastic. So I have to give it above like other tiers.
Now, here's the thing where I feel extremely strongly about, and I'm almost not willing to combine our opinions on this because I feel so strongly about it. But Majora's Mask, this is a fucking C. Or not C, this is a fucking
what?
S. No, this is an S.
What? What are you on crack? No, what are you fucking, like, C tier? What?
No, here's the reason why. Because like, that's not my favorite one. Legend of Zelda 2 is my favorite one. But I understand that there's things about it that I'm like, like, it's hard to recommend that. With Majora's Mask, every person I've ever recommended that game to are like, thank you so much. This is one of the best games I've ever fucking played. And anything about Ocarina of Time that I don't agree with, and you're like, oh, it has this, it has that, and it looks like this, and it plays like that. All those things, like, unarguably are in Majora's Mask. It's basically Ocarina of Time Part 2. But it's just good. Like, it's that, but way fucking better. And so many options, and a different world, and fucking... the little storylines that you get, they're optional storylines, and they're so fucking like depressing and badass and real, and it's scary and it's long. Oh my god, I love that fucking game. Like, Majora's Mask is the Legend of Zelda formula perfected. But what do you feel about this? Even though I'm probably not taking it off S. Oh my god.
Yeah, keep it on S.
Okay,
keep it on S. Who am I kidding? Like that game has some emotional fucking story beats. Like, I remember this one dude is like tattooed up with the chickens, and he just says like, "Look, man, I know the world's gonna end in 2 days, and I got nothing else going on, but these chickens, they're cute. I like these chickens." And that's all he does. And I'm like, wow, I love that shit. He's like, yeah, oh, you playing the song and you make him feel better, even though that the world's gonna end. You play the song for him. He's like, he's happy, you know. And like on that same fucking phone, if you don't save that girl, she gets abducted by fucking aliens. And then you see your sister the next day fucking crying because she didn't believe her sister. Like, that game has moments of fucking despair, but then it has moments of extreme happiness when you actually start saving people. So it's like, yeah, fuck it. Like, my only problem with that game is there's only 4 temples. That's my only problem with that game. But it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, the time aspect was completely new. It's so fucking fresh. I love that game so much. And that's something I really wish is remade. Or even combined with Ocarina of Time, where it's not like that Mario 64 3-game bullshit, the All-Stars thing. I want them to do Legend of Zelda the right way, where it's Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask in a 3-pack, and it fucking be actually remasters instead of the shit they gave us for Mario.
I don't care. Just put it on the Switch. I don't give a fuck.
But that's our list for that. But here's the biggest one, the latest, Breath of the Wild. I'm gonna be honest, man.
Do you want me to go first and drop the bomb, or do you want to start talking and go from there?
I will do mine first because people probably expect me to not like things, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give them what they want or what they prepare for. I thought that Breath of the Wild is a very beautiful game that is just one step behind what it should be. The open world shit, it's fucking boring. It is. It's boring.
Whoa, no.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It is. That's the way I felt. I was just like, I don't feel nothing for this. Graphically, it's fucking competent. It's beautiful, But it's because all the games are beautiful now. Like, lots of times where people say, like, oh, man, this game it does this and does that. It's like, yeah, but when the entire generation of games around now do this thing, you can't use that as like, oh, he's a pioneer of this particular type of gameplay style. It's like, no, Red Dead Redemption 2 came out just a year afterwards. And that's the biggest thing about this, where I think you're going to say, this doesn't feel like what I was expecting out of Zelda. But go ahead, sir.
I'm going to say something more controversial than you are. Breath of the Wild isn't a Legend of Zelda game. Breath of the Wild is a game called Legend of Zelda. And I have beaten this game, and I plan to go through a second playthrough. But my quick rendition of this is it took out, as much as I appreciate the stuff that it was going for, that it was doing, because Nick is 100% wrong. He's never been more wrong in his life. The game looks beautiful, and the open world is fucking fantastic. But the problem, and that's not even the problem with the game. The problem with the game is every single thing that they took out to make this Breath of the Wild is fundamental to the Legend of Zelda franchise. Even Skyward Sword, the worst one, has more Legend of Zelda aspects to it than Breath of the Wild does. Destructible weapons have never been good in any video game ever. The temples are all the same and they're all terrible. The boss fights are relatively interesting but not that good. The overarching story completely gets ignored for the random side quest, which isn't the Legend of Zelda. The final boss fight with Ganon is alright at best. You never meet Zelda in the game at all. She's like, she's locked in the fucking tower, and you never actually see her character model except in cutscenes, past cutscenes. So it's like they took so much out of it. It's like, where is my fucking hero's bow? Where is my bow that has been passed down through generations of people playing Link? Where is the fucking Master Sword? Getting that is probably the best part of that game because it's the only thing that stays consistent. Where's my fucking boomerang? Where's my weapons that I get throughout the game that stick with me? Why is there a crafting option for arrows? Like, seriously, yeah. Why is the only way to get arrows is to go into town and buy them? Why can't I craft wooden arrows? But it's like all that stuff. That's what Legend of Zelda is, though. All those weapons, all those temples, getting weapons in the temple. That's what makes Legend of Zelda Legend of Zelda. Breath of the Wild takes all that out to do what I feel is a glorified tech demo. It's still fucking amazing. It's an 8 out of 10 when it comes to a video game. From the fact that the open world is so much fun to do. The little mini temples you get to increase your health is so much fun because it gives you a benefit to exploring the open world to get different items. The cooking is so good. It is on par with a Hideo Kojima game. Like, that feels like this game feels like they looked at Metal Gear Solid 3 and said, "Fuck it, we're making this Legend of Zelda."
Yeah. No, and I can totally see where you're coming from with that analogy too. But yeah, for me, because of these things, it's like I can't put it as an S tier, even if it's a great game, which I even argue that a little bit, not a lot. I won't. If you had a bunch of reasons why, I would just shut my face and be like, "Hey, maybe I just wasn't in the mood."
It's a B tier for me,
dude. I'm so glad you said that. Me too. It's a B tier.
I'm sorry, it's not as good as the other ones above it.
Yeah, like you look at A Link to the Past and the Adventure Link here, it's like those are staples where like I will never forget those games, and they pushed the medium forward.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, it's like, and I'm not saying you always have to push it forward to be a great game, but it's like you not only didn't push it forward, but then you don't even push like your Zelda stuff forward. Like you're not even like, if I'm a Zelda fan,
the thing is they do because they want clearly Breath of the Wild 2, whatever they're gonna call it, because they never put a 2 in a Zelda game except for Adventures Link 2, but that was like 30 fucking years ago. Whatever that game's going to be is going to use the same engine, probably a very similar version of the map. That's going to be amazing because they know what the fuck they're doing now. But the problem is this is like GTA 4 to GTA 5. GTA 4 is a fantastic game. There's a lot of cool stuff. But then GTA 5 comes out and blows it out of the fucking water. That's what I want with the next Breath of the Wild.
Really quick, I want to read this really quick. DJ Miles says, I think it's a definitive Zelda game. I do agree on all of your points, but I think when you play A Link to the Past, Breath of the Wild is what Nintendo envisioned when making Zelda, period. You're right. That does make somewhat sense there. He says, I will say the biggest crime Birdman left out was the music. How is Breath of the Wild a Zelda game without its amazing soundtrack?
You know what? I apologize for that. We spent the entire time talking about the Legend of Zelda franchise, and I never brought up how good the fucking music is. Like, the music isn't just, you know what, we can post some good shit. No, it's gameplay, man. The only way you get through the Lost Woods is by listening to the fucking music. Actually, I just realized something. This is the only Zelda game without. I just realized something. Breath of the Wild. This is the only Zelda game without a musical instrument. Every single Zelda game has some version of a musical instrument. Ocarina of Time, you have the actual ocarina. Wind Waker, you're a conductor. In Twilight Princess, you still have the fucking. You can get Reese to call your animal. Like every single Legend of Zelda game has a.
Well, you even get the whistle in Link to the Past. You know, like, you even use music in there. Like, yeah, that's fucking crazy. I didn't even think about that.
I just realized that even the fucking Phantom Hourglass, you get a fucking, I can't remember what the fuck it was called, but you get something new with that.
Yeah. No, like, yeah, you're absolutely right. So, That's the thing. Game Boy says I can't just hate Breath of the Wild because I get my ass kicked a lot. And that's, by the way, that's one of my reasons too. I don't want to like sound like a bitch or anything, but like, that's another thing. It's like it's hard, but it's hard in the sense of like, okay, it doesn't have to be this fucking hard. Like usually the other games, there's a way around it, or there's some things you can do or whatever. But it is what it is. Bad Boy saying see all that, but still love Breath of the Wild. Breakable weapon is bullshit. Making the L trigger so important is bullshit. And the fact you can trip, roll down a hill, and die that way was dumb as fuck.
I actually kind of like that because it's like yeah, fuck around and find out. But like, there's a lot of good stuff to the game. That's why I'm not saying it's like a fucking C or D tier. But you took out a lot of what makes The Legend of Zelda The Legend of Zelda. And it's like, I have posters around my room. I have the Zelda Historia. I've had this shit for, I want to say, almost 10 years. It's like, this is a series that I love. And I love it when it changes. But my problem is when you look at Wind Waker to Twilight Princess, yeah, there's a lot of changes. But there's still a lot of consistency with the Legend of Zelda franchise. When you play Skyward Sword, there's still a lot of consistencies, as much as that game is fucking terrible. Breath of the Wild, it's unrecognizable to me.
Yeah.
Like, Link doesn't even get his tunic in it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like, for me, and I'm really happy with our list here, but the main thing, too, is just kind of like, when I look at a lot of Zelda games, there's shit that I can't really compare to be honest. Like, Link to the Past, for its time, I can compare it to maybe Secret of Mana or, you know, Breath of Fire or maybe one of the Final Fantasy games to an extent, but there's turn-based stuff in those other games and there's some other shit. Link to the Past it has its own identity. Same thing with Legend Zelda 2, Adventure of Link, because it's the Pokemon style of the overhead, and then it's also side-scrolling. Everything had an identity. It was crazy. But then you look at Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, yeah, I could play Witcher 3, I can play Red Dead Redemption, I can play Tomb Raider, I can play this. It's like, and by the way, those things I compare to are actually better than Breath of the Wild. And it's like, I don't know, like, isn't that an issue? Like, for most people?
No,
like,
it's not, because, like, I love, like, every game you mentioned. Witcher 3 is the best open world game in the last decade. But it doesn't mean it takes away from Breath of the Wild, because what Witcher does is a very different situation to what Legend of Zelda is doing. Because to me, if Legend of Zelda had all things that I wanted back, like the actual heroic weapons, the better temples, I'm not saying, well, Witcher 3 was way better. It's like, no, Witcher 3 was doing its own thing. Legend of Zelda keeps doing its own thing. I don't mind the changes, but it's like, you can't compare, like, when people talk about, like, okay, what's the first thing they say when people talk about Final Fantasy games? Like, I love Final Fantasy VII, it's the best one. Why? Well, the story's all super cool. It's like, yeah, well, the gameplay's good too. It's like, okay, cool. I love Final Fantasy, 6. Why is that? Well, the story's great. It's like, okay. So the only differentiation between Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever the fuck, is the story. That's the only differentiation. Whereas Legend of Zelda is like, well, what's the difference between Wind Waker and Twilight Princess? Have you seen the combat system, the sailing?
Yeah,
the entire game is unrecognizable.
You can tell there's a difference right away.
There's a difference. With Final Fantasy, it's like, okay, one has a better story than another one. And then you go into details of why that is. But fundamentally, they don't really change. It's not until you get the remakes in 15 and 14 where we're actually changing the combat system. Now, Final Fantasy VII Remake is unrecognizable compared to the original. But when it comes to Final Fantasy games in between, not to knock the series, but you can't differentiate between 6 and 7 besides the fact that you say one is better than the other.
Yeah, and it's all spoiler shit too, so it's like, even in conversation, it's like, well, did you play it yet? You should play it first, and then we'll talk about it. It's like, well, no, you're trying to win me over, make me want to play it, but now you're telling me you can't even discuss why it's either good or bad without the spoiler, which, by the way, when anything, even in movies, when anything rests on the heftiness of its fucking twist or spoiler or whatever, that's the worst thing. I hate when people do that shit. It makes me, like, hate whatever the subject is. Like, I remember with Deadpool, people were like, hey, don't talk about the spoilers. There's fucking this big thing that kind of ruins a movie if you know about it. It's like, if that's the case, which, by the way, I disagree with that, but, like, if that was the case, that must mean I'm sitting here for an hour and a half for a reveal. If I don't like the reveal, then did I just sit here through a movie I fucking hate? Like, that's stupid. That's a dumb
The whole
concept.
thing, it doesn't get good to 2-3 hours in. It's like, what does that mean for the 2-3 hours I'm playing?
Yeah, and that's why I've always understood why you say that about, like, when you play a game, you give it an hour, maybe 2 hours tops to see if it's good or not. If it doesn't win you over by then fuck it. And it's like, yeah, because it shouldn't do that. Like, they need to, like, if you buy something, you buy a game, you get into a story or something, you're supposed to slowly get into it. Yes, I get that, but they got to win you over. You know what I mean? Because some people are not fans of the series and they're not willing to sit there and be like, well, I'm sure it'll get good in a couple fucking days. It's like, no, like, what if this shit's rented? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
So, and that's another thing too with Breath of the Wild, where it took an hour for me to kind of get into it and I still didn't. With Majora's Mask, dude, right away, I'm like, what the fuck? With
It takes you an hour to really get to the actual, like, what's going on. The rest of it, you're just exploring. But once that hour hits, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, A Link to the Past takes 2 minutes to get good.
What do you mean 2 minutes? That opening text scroll is amazing.
Yeah,
Link, I need your fucking help. Yeah, like it's open again. The only game in this entire list that has a better opening text scroll than Link to the Past is the fucking Wind Waker.
And I don't even know about that. But Ocarina of Time, I can't wait to play Wind Waker so I know why you love it so much. But like
That's
Ocarina of
so
Time is
fucking
another
good.
one where I can't even disagree. It's epic as shit. It has a nice cutscene, and it's not annoying. It's just a regular cutscene. And then you're already doing a bunch of new shit that you've never done in the franchise before. And it's like, dude, like the fucking tutorial is fun. You know, it's like that's how you do these games, man. I understand that, like even Twilight Princess has a pretty bad end or a bad beginning. Like you had to go fishing and you gotta do all this crazy, silly shit. And then, like,
Actually, I love the beginning because it was. Legend of Zelda games' beginnings are very like some of them are more epic, but like especially with Wind Waker and with Twilight Princess, very similar openings where they're very low key because that's what's supposed to be with the Link. Like you wake up every single game, you wake up sleeping because they want you to feel like a normal person. Because who doesn't? Literally, Wind Waker, it's your birthday and you sleep until noon.
yeah,
That is the most human thing ever.
yeah. So I mean, like I said, those things I really like about those games. But I'm really happy with our fucking list. I completely agree with what we did here.
I think Skyward Sword should be D, but that's just me.
You motherfucker. So really quick, we're gonna make this very, very fast. But there's this movie I made you watch, man.
Man.
This is called Willy's Wonderland. Oh, look at this shit. Do you remember when we talked about this trailer, Alan? You were talking shit.
Yeah. I was like, hey, we found a lost Five Nights at Freddy's script, and someone apparently filmed it.
A lot of you guys have already listened to Double Toast's review, so we're not going to go, along with this, especially describing what the fucking movie is, because you already know the concept. It's basically, Five Nights at Freddy's is a movie. Every single review, written or not, written, recorded, all that shit, they always bring that up. It's like, I hate when people, like, overdo that, too. Like, even with Joker, it was just like, hey, it's fucking Taxi Driver 2019. Or
I bet you didn't know that this is based on Five Nights at Freddy, or looks just like it because animatronics. You didn't see that, did you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we
like, I'm like Nicolas Cage right here, just looking at him like, are you serious? Like, I didn't fucking know this was in the fucking trailer. So, yeah, and so there it is. We said it. It's done. Now we're every other review. But it's to be a little bit nice to people who didn't listen to DT's review. This movie stars Nicolas Cage, who gets trapped by a couple of small town locals, including a sheriff played by Beth Grant. And he's basically put into a situation where his tires are all fucked up. I forgot even how that happened. There's like spikes on the floor or something like that.
Yeah, the spike's on the ground, and then he basically kind of gets like his tires get fucked up. He calls AAA. They're like, "Hey, we can fix it up for you, but it's gonna take overnight. It's gonna be a ton of money. We got no ATMs. Can you pay cash?" And niggas goes like, he doesn't. By the way, he doesn't talk like at all.
Yeah,
so he's just kind of like
time.
And then they're like, "Well, you know what? Don't worry, we got you." So some guy comes and says, "You know what? Clean up this place. You clean it up by morning. You know what? I'll fix the car for you. Drive it here myself. We're good to go." And it's like, that seems a pretty sweet deal. Fuck the American automotive industry and fuck mechanics in general. So fuck, I'll clean a place. No, I fucking hate mechanics. So yeah, I would take that deal too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you're, as a viewer, you're probably watching this like, well, that's it. There has to be a fucking story, and there is. This character named Liv, played by Emily Toadsta, convinces her stupid ass friends to go with her to set this fucking place on fire. Because that's the thing. Like this place that Nicolas Cage has to go and clean up, or whatever. It's called Willy's Wonderland, and it's this really ugly, beat down fucking place that you could tell no one's been in for fucking years, or maybe not. I don't know. The storyline does some history shit, and I was like, I'm not paying attention. I want to see things get fucking beat up, so I'm not giving a fuck. But Liv, she essentially has her friends go with her to kind of set this place on fire, but the deputy, or the sheriff or whatever, this girl that I talked about earlier, Beth Grant, she's kind of like her mother figure, which, by the way, when I was watching the movie, I'm like, wait, are you her actual mother? I don't think she is. I think she just kind of like took care of her or whatever, and she's just like the mother figure because obviously her parents are gone, blah, blah. So, with all that stuff being said here, they go to the fucking place to burn it up, and then they look inside and you see Nicolas Cage in all his bloody gory, glory, not bloody gory, bloody glory. But he's just sitting there just fucking beating up these guys and then cleaning, and they're just like, oh, we gotta help him. And I gotta tell you, dude, the way they go in there to help him, and then they clumsily like, oh, now we're all in here, now we're in the fucking hijinks, that was kind of stupid. But,
it was fucking stupid.
But here's the thing, though, is like this movie is so comfortable in stupidity. I cannot use stupid as an insult with this movie. It is a fucking compliment. I love this fucking movie so much. Sorry to just spoil the fucking review at the end or whatever, but I love this movie. And Jet, I gotta tell you, when we were watching this, I don't know if you thought this was gonna be good or not, But what'd you feel about this? Because you brought it up to me when I was at your house, and you were like, "Oh, should we watch it? Should we watch it?" I was like, is this Jet being excited to watch this movie? Like, I don't know.
I mean, like, it was stupid.
But do you mean that in a good way or a bad way?
I mean, yeah, it's all right way. Like, I wasn't expecting, like, oh my god, this is the best fucking thing ever. Like, for me, I love stupid shit. I love stupid ass movies that don't take themselves seriously. This is definitely a stupid ass movie that does not take itself seriously. So, like, usually with movies like this, I'd get mad. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Like, as long as I'm entertained, I won't get mad. But like, this one, I can't say I hated it. I was entertained. I liked him beating the shit out of these fucking animatronics.
Because I'm looking at this, by the way, especially when he's dancing and playing with like the video games and shit. I'm like, this is Jet. Every time you watch Child's Play or a Leprechaun movie or something, Jet's always like.
So garbage horror movies, by the way.
Well, no, because I was gonna bring up Freddy Krueger next. Jet's always talking about I will beat his fucking ass, and I can imagine Jet just socking Freddy Krueger in the face after he says some perverted shit. And I don't know why, but Jet has always.
I've said I beat the shit out of fucking Freddy Krueger's old ass.
And the same thing with the Child's Play. Jet, what is your thing with always talking about how you're gonna beat the shit out of Chucky?
I'll beat the shit out of his short ass.
Just because he's short, by the way, too. That's a Brad Dourif.
Just because he's short, like that's a perverted fucking murderous puppet. Like
she's not gonna go around beating up short people, but if one of them tries to grab her ass, she will.
I will say though, I want to see Chucky versus Randy Newman. That'd be fucking great. Just like short people and fucking.
I'll be rooting for Chucky. Fuck him up for all the short people that made fun of.
Short people and the fucking dolls. Look my balls. No, but the thing is though is, you know, every time I do this with Jen, we watch these horror movies, she's always talking about this stuff. And like, by the way, I kind of agree with her because once again, like you look at Pinhead, you know, he already has the fucking pins already in his head. That probably hurts. But then also he just stands around and shit. Like Jason's pretty much the only guy, and Michael, they're probably the only guys that are scary. But even Freddy, if he comes in our real world,
Jason isn't scary. He's just an asshole.
Yeah, no, agree. And then like for Freddy Krueger, you know, if he comes in real life, he's just a dude who's burned and he's tired and he's old. Alan, you can beat
he's still pretty powerful. No. Dude, he went toe-to-toe with Jason in the real world. Like, Freddy's probably the only one that's actually legitimately scared. Well, him and Michael, because Michael doesn't say anything. Michael's, like, he will always find a way to find you. Not like Jason, where he just teleports. Like, you see him, like, where you know where he's going to come from, but he still somehow manages to find you. Freddy's, like, the scariest because, like, he goes into your dreams and he fucks with you in the worst ways you could think of, or the stupidest ways. But either way, he's trying to scare you. And in the real world, like, he goes toe-to-toe with Jason and almost kills him. So it's like, he's still pretty powerful in the real world.
Yeah, but that's why
he's still a weak ass old man. I'll beat his ass.
Jason could have beat his ass.
But
yeah, that's why he won.
But there's something about this where it's like I wish more horror movies did this because Ron Turn has done this in his sequels. Hills of Ice kind of does this towards the end, you know, in the remake at least. And I love it when people are so fucking mad about being victimized by whatever the serial killer is, the villain, or even in this fucking thing, animatronics. And I'm like, yeah, you get them, you fucked them up, and it makes it so much fun. And the fact that Nicolas Cage, with no dialogue, he's also just as scary as the animatronics, it made this such a fun, easy watch for me because of the fact that it's like, yeah, this movie, every time it tries to play scary music and it's like, oh god, here it comes, oh, blah, blah. Any other horror movie, we're like, all right, yeah, just run away or get him. And here we're like, oh shit, I'm excited because I know they're not going to do what they always do with these fucking movies. He's about to beat this thing's ass. And it could be like a joke. And it's like, I fucking love that. But now, Alan, I'm going to give it to you. What'd you feel about this, man? Because I am so curious, and I'm almost worried that you completely hated this.
I've always found Nicolas Cage to be a completely terrible fucking actor, and I don't understand why anyone ever likes him. Apparently, also the director, because he's like, you're not gonna say a goddamn word the entire of this fucking movie. The only sound you're gonna make is a couple grunts when you fucking hit shit. But as far as I'm concerned, don't say a goddamn fucking word. And you know what? We're better off for it because holy shit, it would have ruined this movie if started acting. Because I was like arms crossed. I'm like, oh great, Nick sent me another movie. It's another fucking movie under 2 hours. Great, I can't wait to fucking watch this boring piece of shit. But then watching it, I'm like, oh, that's a pretty decent premise. Okay, this is kind of stupid. First fight, I was like, not bad. Like the trailer made it seem like every single Nicolas Cage. Oh, it's super crazy and weird. This is pretty nuts, but I did kind of enjoy the progression. It's kind of doing stuff where it's like, hey, I know how horror movies work because I've watched enough of them. But just kind of like the lore unloading, I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. It actually makes a lot of sense. And then it said they were like, well, they're just crazy avatars. No, there's actually something going on. And I liked how everything just kind of kept fitting in because there's so many weird things that happen. I'm like, how does this town exist? Oh, this is how this town exists. But yeah, every time there's a fight, it's interesting, it's unique, it's hilariously bloody. It does a lot of stupid things, but that's the point where it's like, if this movie wasn't as stupid as it was, it might be a little bit boring to some people. But sometimes it does really dumb things. I'm like, why'd you do that? You kind of mess with the flow a little bit. But it doesn't. At the end of the day, that's what this movie is trying to do. It's just going with the flow. It doesn't really care about what's happening. It just kind of does stuff. And it just kept going. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. They just killed off people. I'm like, oh, you die? Okay. I expected you to live. I'm surprised, actually. And then the movie just kind of ends, and you're like, oh, I mean, they could do a sequel if they really wanted to. But this is a pretty closed, book. But I had myself, like, I wasn't bored. Like, I thought I'd be hating this, like, the last time Nick texted me. But I was watching this through. I'm like, this is good. I was kind of watching the whole movie to see if Nicolas Cage was going to say anything. But they stick to it. And, yeah, I liked it. It was simple. It got to the point. It wasn't 3 fucking hours where it would have killed this flow. But, like, yeah, it's hour 20 minutes, and you're in, you're out, and you get a decent fucking horror movie. It's a reverse horror movie. I feel like I said this to another one, but I can't remember what it was. It's a reverse horror movie. Instead of the situation where it's like, hey, watch these people get killed off, which does kind of happen. It's like, no, watch this guy kill off the villains.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, I know because this is not a movie that really rests on the heftiness of a spoiler. It's like, I don't want to spoil it for you because I love this movie a lot. So I'm just going on my way to not really discuss what happens at the end. But I will tell you, like, yeah, it's a little predictable, but there is somewhat of a twist, and there is some explanations that go on that I didn't really expect. I was like, oh shit, like, this is actually, the explanation was something I wasn't really expecting, and the reason why this whole universe is even going on. But I will say, fucking JP, he's like, I'll say this about the lead, he's a guy of his word. Stupid. I like it though.
Terrible.
But to wrap it all up, and I'll give a rating because everyone's already heard so many reviews of this because this movie's been out for a bit. But I give this a 4 out of 5 because the main thing I really like about this...
You'll give any shitty horror movie a fucking 4 out of 5 as long as there's some fucking blood at some point.
Oh, maybe, because it's a horror movie, man. Like, the blood...
I know, but I said any horror movie. Like, this movie has, like, its version of it, so, like, okay, I can see why you liked it. But you'll give any piece of shit as long as it has blood in it.
Because, like, dude, and genres and genres get fucking ridiculous. I'm pretty sure you agree with
genres
that.
Don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
okay?
pretty much. Yeah. No, dude, like, normally, because that sounds like a silly Alan comment, but he's right. There's so many subgenres now. Nothing is a thing. Everything is just a piece of every fucking thing else.
I can argue to you that John Wick's a horror movie.
Yeah, no, legit, because he's like a fucking Jason Voorhees. Like, that knows
Jason Voorhees in that movie.
Yeah, but like with this, if I have to pick a genre, if I was like, okay, let me just put 3 genres together and make a section to see other movies that would actually combine and be in the same shelf that this one would be, I would say comedy, horror, and action. I got horror, with the blood and guts and all that shit. I got action because there's lots of cool... I mean, there's choreography in this fucking thing. I didn't even expect that. And then it's funny. It's comedy. And I had a great time. And it's like, this movie is terrible. But it was so... It's genre. It's like, that's what you're supposed to do when you make a thing. That's like if I go to a sandwich shop and, like, it's a sandwich shop. It has a sandwich logo. And then they give me, like, oh, here's a sandwich. Here's some pepperoni stuff. We're not going to have the mayo and all the other stuff to make a regular sandwich or, like, a Philly cheesesteak. But, here's a bag of chips and the pizza. It's like... You're a terrible sandwich shop. I love pizza. I love Lay's potato chips. I love the soda you just gave me. But I came here for a sandwich. What the fuck is this? This movie is like, listen, we probably don't have the best ingredients, but we are where you came. Like, you came here for some silly shit. It's called Willy's fucking Wonderland. It's dumb as shit. And here you go. And it's like, thank you so much. I came here for this, and I got exactly what I wanted, and then some. And if there was a part 2, I'd watch that too. I fucking love this movie. But it's 4 out of 5, and it's hard to recommend. That's why I'm not giving it something higher. But, like, if you're a horror fan and you like silly shit, oh, my God. Like, this is amazing. And, by the way, too, I don't need a Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, there's animatronics
This is literally it.
Yeah, this is literally it. If you're making that, stop it. Because, like, it's not... You're gonna ruin the fun that this movie was. Like, just to stop. It's not necessary. It's just animatronics. It's gonna be the same shit this one was, and just you're too late. Five Nights at Freddy's. Jet, what would you rate this movie? And any lasting comments that you wanna kind of throw in there?
Like I said before, this is a stupid ass movie. It shouldn't be taken seriously. I mean, at least they did something with Five Nights at Freddy's that the actual Five Nights at Freddy's should have did a long ass time ago. But the people in this movie are way more stupid than usual. Like, there's one scene where 2 people obviously have sex, and it's just like, oh yeah, like people died in here. That makes me really horny. And it's just like, y'all came in here to basically, you know, destroy this place. Why y'all humping and shit? Like, that's extra dumb for a horror movie. Like, extra dumb.
It's a horror movie. We gotta have two people fuck at some point.
But that was, like, more dumb than usual. And then, like, Willy, like, he's entertaining to watch because he's obviously beating the absolute shit out of all these ugly animatronics, by the way. All of them are absolutely dog shit ugly. I would also beat their asses.
What, you and Willy? Look at him. He's just like, oh, hey, love me. It's your birthday.
What are you talking about? Set that motherfucker on fire.
Ring his ass. But, yeah, like, while I was watching this, I was never bored. It's not the best, like, stupid movie that I've watched. That goes to a lot of other things. But, like I said, I was never bored with it. I did enjoy him, like, beating the shit out of people. Him not talking in here, like, I feel like that added a little extra bit. Because I feel like Nicolas Cage talking in this movie probably would have ruined it. Yeah. I don't know why. I just have that feeling.
And you're right.
Like, this wouldn't have been, like, as fun as it was.
Yeah, and I also feel like that was them saving more money, too. Because, like, okay, we don't have to pay him for his lines. That's fucking great.
Oh, no, they probably paid him enough. This dude's doing a lot of shit. He just isn't talking. But they realize he's a terrible actor and just pretend to look cool. And he's trying he's basically like, I'm going to be Ryan Gosling throughout this whole movie.
Yeah. What were you saying, though, Jed?
I will say also, a lot of the cast was actually pretty bad. Like, a lot of the people really didn't even really belong. But like I said, this is a horror movie. They're most likely just put in here to get their heads chopped off. I will say, if I followed that girl and I got fucking killed, because like I was going along with her plan, and then someone else was just like, "Oh, we gotta follow her in there because we can't do have her going there alone and shit." I'm haunting y'all, all your asses.
Yeah. Look, yeah, if you're in a random building and some serial killer's coming after you, I'll try to save you too.
If you go into that if I go into a fucking building that's haunted with haunted animatronics that kill people, and you coming after me, I would think you are dumb as shit.
Wait, so you'd rather wait. So if you get trapped in some building with like fucking some sort of horror, whatever the fuck, and I try to come in there to save you, like what? You're my friend. Of course I gotta try to save you.
See that's mostly because that girl in there, I'm gonna go and spoil. She didn't need no help. Them coming in there just basically set their demise. Not once did they help in any of those fights. She was better off just alone with Nicolas Cage. Yeah. So you guys follow me, literally just killed you. And at that point, if I was that girl, I'd be like, damn, y'all are dumb as shit. But if I was one of the dumb shits that basically followed her, I'd be like, you know what? I'm mad. I'm real fucking mad. I'm gonna haunt you. But I'm also going to be mad at my fucking self because why the fuck did I come in here when we were going to light this place on fucking fire?
Yeah.
That's dumb ass fucking shit.
Yeah, but that's the thing too, is like if Jet was in this movie, she would be Nicolas Cage's character where she probably wouldn't be talking because when we first met Jet, she didn't talk a whole lot. And the other thing too is that Jet, me knowing her now, she has this thing with like cleaning as well. Like she's a pretty clean fucking person. So it's like imagine Jet and her just cleaning like, oh look at this dirty ass fucking sink, disgusting ass fucking Muppet motherfuckers, and just.
Well, I was cleaning too. I was just like, oh damn, yeah, get that spot too. Oh yeah, lift that spot right there. Clean that.
She's drinking Starbucks in the can.
Use that fucking toothbrush. Oh man, that's real dirty. like I was impressed. He made that place fucking sparkle.
Yeah, that was therapeutic for me.
When I clean, I got to get everywhere, every single time. If I find out like something that I never knew had to be clean needs to be cleaned, I'm gonna fucking clean it.
Exactly. Yeah. So like that's the thing that was kind of funny about it, too, and it was actually therapeutic. Like. This kind of gave me the same feeling I get when I'm playing The Sims and you finally like clean the whole house and like your character's like, yes, booga booga. It's like I kind of felt that watching this. I'm like, yeah, you clean that fucking mirror. Like, God, that shit's shiny as fuck. Good job. And then like blood gets on. I'm like, no, he just cleaned it. What the shit?
There's one part where confetti just falls forever. It's just like, how much fucking confetti did they have to where it's still fucking falling? Like, is it just going in slow motion or something like that? But just clean this fucking area. Everything else is going fast, but it's still fucking falling. How much confetti did y'all have in here?
They got the confetti budget higher than the fucking movie budget.
Like, since this movie, you don't need to take this movie seriously. It is stupid, and watching Nicolas Cage, fight the animatronics is the only reason why you would actually watch this movie. Everyone else, meh. You don't really give two shits about them. They're boring. And honestly, you don't even need to learn anything about them. They're stupid. This, to me, I want to either give it a 2.5 or a 3. I'm landing more towards 2.5.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's an average movie. I mean, I get it. It's just, for me, I'm such a nerdy motherfucker when it comes to horror and silly shit. But I can totally see where you're coming from. You know what I mean? Like, the movie knows it's average. You know what I mean? And I kind of appreciate that. But, yeah, but...
There's an animatronic just looking right at us. Let's keep fucking.
Yeah.
Like, these are murderous fucking animatronics. Let's keep fucking in here. And we're all in the room where all these kids got killed. Let's keep fucking. Like, what?
Yeah, it was fucking. That's such a stupid part. But yeah, and moments like that, it's like, yeah, that's why I can't say it's like the perfect fucking stupid horror movie. But then again, it's like, I don't think it was ever trying to be. But 2.5 for you, 4 for me. But Alan, where does it land, good sir?
This is weird because I don't like Nicolas Cage movies, and I saw this trailer, it looked fucking terrible. But watching the movie, I'm like, this isn't bad. This isn't bad. And all the dumb stuff, it's like, yeah, it's going for kind of this cheesier horror movie, something you just catch on a bargain bin, like DVD shit. And it kept going good, but like, I gotta kind of agree with Jet. Like, I feel like the only reason those kids got involved was because they realized this is a horror movie where nobody dies. So they're like, we need a bunch of random meatbags to get killed and fucking do the typical horror movie stuff. Because we can't have a horror movie in which the only people that die are the bad guys. Like, that'd be way too weird. So, like, we gotta do the horror movie stuff. And it feels like all the other stuff they did in there, like, it's just kind of random. Like, it felt out of nowhere. They just did it. So that's why it lowers it. But it's like, at the end of it, it's like, I wasn't bored. Once it starts going, it really keeps going. It's interesting. The kills are really good. It's way more bloody than I would expect, especially to do with robots. And Nicolas Cage, yeah, he sticks to character. He does everything he needs to do. So I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5 just because I wasn't bored. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah. Oh, look at him. He's just looking at you like, yeah, well, you know what? My next movie, you're going to hate that shit, Alan.
Hey, man, I got to respect his cut, man. He has a good beard.
He really does. He looks handsome in general. I mean, he looks pretty good in this movie.
He looks good for the fucking 100,000-year-old zombie he is.
I will say, though, really quick, and this is another side about Jet, but, girl, you're always making fun of people's heads. Like, she's just like, look at his receding hairline. I'm like, leave him the fuck alone, man.
He's trying.
Like, Jet, why do you come for these fucking foreheads? Like...
Well, I mean, sometimes they'll be wearing hats and stuff, and when they take them off, it's just like, damn, that forehead just keeps fucking going. Like, I'm sorry, it's just kind of there. It's just like, goddamn.
But you know what
else?
else?
There's that one picture of like fucking Nicolas Cage going around where he has like a really big 10-gallon forehead, and they put a fucking eagle on the top of his head because his toupee was so terrible.
Oh, Jesus Christ! But you know what else keeps going just like his forehead? That good old Metropolis Collective. Alan, why don't you tell people where to find you and whatnot, sir?
All right, then. So if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see me posting for the Metropolis Collective. Follow me there for the Illuminati podcast. We will work on getting the audio uploaded and done proper. I'll work on it. Like again, I'm still working on it, but there's still a lot of technical. The videos are still there on Facebook, so if you do have a chance, you can watch them through there. So, but yeah, follow me or anyone here on Facebook. You'll get the notification eventually.
Oh, yes, people. So with that said, thank you very much for watching us for as long as you guys have. Time for us to get the fuck out of here. Listen to that music. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be changing soon. So make sure to enjoy that music while you can because in a couple months, this whole thing going to be different. But thank you. Love you. We're going to raid good old Juicy Herman because he is the juicy one. And we like the juice. We do. There you go, Mr. Chris Herman. Enjoy that shit. And we are out of here. Peace. Goodbye.
See ya.
Hey,